Okay, so moving along with Sisters of Battle and doing a quick review of the units and what's changed. Obviously, one of the cores, the unit you have to discuss no matter what you're going to play in the Codex, is the troops. And well, the bad news: there is no real change in the troops. There's only one unit, still the same one. You could take Battle Sisters. There was hope that maybe Celestins would be moved into the troops, or that we'd get something from a previous codex, but no, pretty much it is what it is. Battle Sisters. So what's changed with them? Well, big news. You can now take them in squads of 5. This is great, because in the past you could only take them in squads of 10. You could take an immolator as a transport, but you couldn't fit them in it. And you were kind of stuck paying an awful lot of points for squads of 10 girls, while other codices let you take relatively small troop choices. So this is a big change, being able to take 5 girls instead of 10. They went way down in terms of cost. Now, overall, if you're going to take 10 girls, the cost is close to the same, but since it's half as many, the cost went way down. Their stat line is essentially the same for the girls themselves. But, as you'll notice with a lot of the modern codices, the leadership has gone down for a unit. And so this happened with the girls also. The leadership of their sister superior is now exactly the same as the girls she's with. Matter of fact, from what I can tell, the only change to the sister superior versus the battle sisters is she gets the character rule, which means she can be in a challenge or she could be challenged. Now, you can take a veteran sister superior, and that, if you were to call her the veteran sister superior, she then gets the rules that were the sister superior rules in the previous codex. So she's back to leadership 9, and she has 2 attacks. I'm not sure you would do that in the current codex. As a matter of fact, I don't think I'm going to pay to take the veteran sister superior, and I'll get to why later. So they're still infantry, they're still wearing power armor and carrying bolt pistols and bolt guns, and they're still got frag and crack grenades. So they have their assault grenades, they have their crack grenades in case they want to take out a vehicle or wound a monstrous creature. They still have an act of faith, and they have the shield of faith, so they have their invulnerable save. But big change for the sisters, because they don't get to use acts of faith every round. In the previous edition, Battle Sisters were basically better at shooting than Space Marines, because they could probably re-roll their ones every round, if not every other round. But it was very often they were going to roll ones again, at least for some of your troop squads. Now, it's only going to happen once a game, and it's a lot less versatile. You can use your act of faith in your opponent's phase, so if you're in the assault phase, you can still use it. And the sisters' act of faith, what does it do? It gives you preferred enemy, which is essentially what it did in the previous edition. It just didn't call it that. Now it does. So that means you're re-rolling ones to hit. So you roll a 1 to hit, you get to re-roll it. The fact that they have leadership 8 means it probably goes off about as often as before, but you don't get the chance to re-roll this unless you take special war gear. So active faith, not as good as it was before. Their shooting is now equal to a Space Marine, or worse, depending on if you're looking at things like Crimson Fists or something that always re-roll 1s. You can take a pretty good sized squad up to 20, same as before. You can still take the Simeraculum Imperialis. You can pretty much upgrade them like before. You can take 1 special weapon, and then you can take another special or heavy weapon. So, as before, you could take a flamer or a melta, and then a multi-melta or a heavy flamer with your squad of girls. You can still do that. You can now do that, though, with a squad of 5 girls. So, you could put 2 meltas or flamers and a heavy flamer or something in your squad of 5 girls, which gets you a lot more of them on the table per game. You can still give the Melta Bomb to the sergeant, the sister superior, or the veteran sister superior, so no change there. and then you can give her melee weapons and or ranged weapons. So if you really wanted to, you could give her a bolt pistol. You could give her 2 bolt pistols, or you could give her a chain sword. And based on what the models have, it's kind of pretty obvious what you can do. But there's no real change there, and then you can still take the Rhino and the Immolator as dedicated transports, and I'll cover them in a second. But those vehicles can now transport the girls. Previously, the Immolator could never transport the squad that came with it unless it suffered heavy losses. But now you can put those girls in the Immolator, and that means you can get a lot of Immolators on the table.